Court declines Yahya Bello's bail request over alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Court denies human rights activist Dele Farotimi bail. FCT residents shelve travel plans over lack of funds, high transportation costs. On the foreign scene, Kenya police hurl tear gas at protesters against gender-based violence. It's the news update on Trust TV. Hello and welcome. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us. The news in detail. Justice Marian Aneni of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has refused to grant a bail application filed by the former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, saying it was filed prematurely. Delivering the ruling, Justice Aneni said having been filed when he was neither in custody nor before the court, the instant application was incompetent. The former governor is standing trial along with two others in an alleged 110 billion naira money laundering charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. In the arguments before the court on the bail application, the judge said the defendant's counsel, J.B. Daudu, senior advocate of Nigeria, had told the court that he had submitted sufficient facts to grant the bail. He urged the court to exercise its discretion judicially and judiciously to grant the bail. In opposing, the prosecution counsel, Kemi Pinero, had argued that the instant application was grossly incompetent, having been filed before arraignment. He said it ought to be filed after arraignment, but the first defendant's counsel disagreed, saying there was no authority. Bello had filed an application for his bail on 22nd November, but was taken into custody on 26th November and arraigned on 27th November. Also, a magistrate court in Ado-Ekiti has denied bail to human rights activist Dele Farotimi. Farotimi was taken to court for allegedly defaming Afe Babalola, the founder of Afe Babalola University at Ado-Ekiti. At the court hearing on Tuesday, the presiding magistrate, Abayomi Adeosun, postponed the decision on Farotimi's bail application to December 20. This happened after the police counsel, Samson Oshogu, argued that the bail application submitted by the defendant was incomplete and not properly filed. Away from that, the camp of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has accused the ruling All Progressives Congress and the presidency of using the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to destabilize and weaken the People's Democratic Party. Atiku's media aide, Paul Ibe, who made the allegation on Monday, claimed that the APC has turned the PDP into a playground to escalate its internal crisis and extend it to other opposition parties, using the former Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike. But in a swift reaction, the National Publicity Director of APC, Bala Ibrahim, queried the rationale behind deploying Wike to wreck a party that is already in turmoil. Ibrahim also emphasized that the FCT minister is not a card-carrying member of the ruling party and therefore could not have been used to destroy a party he still belongs to. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority says it will sanction any airlines that delays tickets refund to passengers. NCAA Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimogo, made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Abuja. According to him, tickets refund compliance regulations remain central to the NCAA's consumer protection agenda. He said the time had come for airlines to adhere strictly to the refund timelines, as failure to comply will attract immediate sanctions under Part 19 of the regulations, which aim to safeguard passengers' rights. Speaking on a specific case involving Air Peace, The director stated the airline had exceeded the stipulated refund time frame, compelling the NCAA to demand swift compliance. According to him, the incident has triggered the regulators to take decisive action against any form of non-compliance. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigeria Travel Agencies has called for the extension of the probe of the Air Peace airline infraction to other airlines by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. The FCCPC is investigating the airline over alleged exploitative ticket pricing and violation of consumer rights. The commission, headed by Tunji Bello, journalist and lawyer, warned Air Peace against obstructing the inquiry. According to NANTA, the inquiry should be extended to other domestic and international carriers to make it total. NANTA President Yinka Folami said the state of service and pricing of domestic travel operations in Nigeria fell short of the required standards. The umbrella body said it will continue to pursue advocacy in the downstream aviation sector and focus on equitable market practices, policies and protection of consumers. Some residents of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, have been speaking on why they may not be traveling for the Christmas holidays, a situation they described as unfortunate. According to some of them, high transportation fares, lack of funds, economic hardship, insecurity, and bad roads are some of the reasons they are shelving plans to travel for the holidays. They blame the removal of petrol subsidy by President Bola Tinubu's administration, a policy they described as not well articulated and which have received wide criticism by Nigerians both home and abroad. Our reporter who visited Jabi and Zuba motor parks as well as some leading transport companies like GUO, GIG, ITC, ABC Transport in the nation's capital Abuja reports that this year's celebrations are likely to witness a decrease in patronage in transport business as compared to previous years. And to security matters, bandits in Zamfara state have rejected 3 million naira offered as ransom for the release of 26 abducted persons from Gidangoga village in Maradun local government area. An indigene of the village, Abubakar Shehu, whose 3 daughters are among the abductees, disclosed this to newsmen on Monday. He clarified that 26 individuals were abducted during the attack and not 50, as earlier reported by some media outlets. Shehu explained that the abductees include 19 females, 6 males, with one of his daughters preparing for marriage before her abduction. Shehu also noted that the bandits operate from a camp near the village and have been a persistent threat for a long time. He added that despite reporting the incident to security agencies in the area, no action had been taken, even as the State Police Command is yet to release a statement on the incident. Also, there is an uneasy calm at Okene in Kogi State as gunmen suspected to be kidnappers reportedly abducted Kabiru Onyene, said to be a popular aide of ex-governor Yahya Bello in his office on Monday. Reports from the area on Tuesday said Onyene was abducted around 7:05 p.m. when gun-wielding men in their numbers stormed his office, shooting sporadically, and carried him away to an unknown destination. Kabiru was said to be cooling off in his popular restaurant located few meters to the palace of late Ohinoyi of Ibira land in Okene when his abductors struck and abducted him to a yet-to-be-established location. A yet-to-be-identified person was also said to have been shot in the process, with his fate hanging in the balance. Sources close to the family stated that his abductors have not reached them, causing anxiety as to the reason behind his kidnap and his safety. The Kogi State Police Command Public Relations Officer SP Williams Aya said the command was yet to be briefed on the incident. Atsi Kefas, a younger sister of Governor Agbu Kefas of Taraba State, has died 4 days after she was shot by armed robbers. Atsi, 44, died in a private hospital in Abuja while receiving treatment for her injuries from the robbery attack. Trust TV reported that suspected bandits on Thursday morning attacked a vehicle in which Jumai Kefas, the mother of Taraba State Governor Agbu Kefas, was traveling along Kente Road in Wukari local government area of the state. Atsi was in the vehicle with her mother. She was immediately taken to the Federal University Teaching Hospital, Wukari, before being flown to Abuja for further treatment. The family and the state government were yet to confirm her death as of the time of this report, but a reliable family source told Trust TV Tuesday morning that she died Monday night in Abuja. The Benue State government has announced plans to conduct a livestock census to gather comprehensive data on animals and their owners across the state. The principal special assistant to the state governor on livestock development and transboundary animal disease control, Ondaka Sambe, disclosed this on Monday in Makurdi after inspecting abattoirs and livestock markets. Asambe explained that the census aims to address persistent farmers-herders clashes and other forms of criminal activity. He highlighted the governor's commitment to revitalizing the livestock industry and enhancing its contributions to the state's economy. He further outlined plans to register livestock farmers, hatcheries, and feed mills to meet local consumption demands in the short term. In the medium and long term, the government aims to revive livestock establishments and improve production with enhanced breeds. To the South-South region of the country, the leadership of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State has set up a 9-man panel of inquiry to investigate the bombing of its secretariat in the state on October 5, 2024. Chairman of the APC in the state, Tony Okocha, announced the committee at a media briefing shortly after a meeting of the newly elected state executive at the party's secretariat in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The report.
Okocha said the setup of the panel was necessary because the incident of the APC secretariat was not considered heinous enough to be included in the panel set up by Governor Similaye Fubara. He said the committee will be headed by party's legal advisor, Kelechi Nwozi, and is expected to submit its report within 1 month for legal actions against anyone indicted in the attack on October 5th. This development comes a few days after Governor Similaye Fubara received the reports of the Justice Minikari Judicial Commission of Inquiry and promised that the government will implement all the recommendations according to the law of the state.
We have agreed to set up our own panel of inquiry. The panel will be empowered, will be empaneled to extend invitations to anybody is above the law. Invite people. We are hearing stories and gossips of what happened and what happened, but we cannot agree to it.
Okocha, while reiterating the importance of the resumption of production at the Port Harcourt refinery, stated that with the current exchange rates of the naira to dollar, it will boost the economic well-being of the country.
The other issue to commend, Mr. President, is for the up and running of the Port Harcourt refinery. Critics, pundits had concluded that project was going to be a wide goose chase and that nothing will come out of it.
The state party chairman called on President Bola Tinubu to always come to the aid of the party in the state when the need arises and commended him for his laudable policies geared towards leading Nigeria out of the economic woe.
You're watching the news update coming to you live from Trust TV studios in the nation's capital. Still ahead. Gender-based violence prevention underway at Bayero University, Kano. Plenty more after the break. We'll be right back. It's nice to have you join us again. You're still watching the news update on Trust TV. Here is a recap of some of our top stories. Court declines Yahya Bello's bail request over alleged 110 billion naira fraud. Also, court denies human rights activist Dele Farotimi bail. Moving on to other stories. Taraba State Governor Agbu Kefas has appealed to students of the Taraba State University to shelve their planned protest. The senior assistant to the governor on media and digital communication, Emmanuel Bello, said sources had revealed that the students were mobilizing for a protest following the strike action embarked by the academic staff union of the state university. He added that the students were in the middle of their examinations when ASU went on strike. According to him, the governor, in a swift response, appealed to the students to resist any action that could further cause disruption in the educational system. Bello said Governor Kefas is committed to students' welfare, which was what informed the free education policy, adding that the biggest part of the 2025 budget is for the education sector. The two-day national conference on gender-based violence prevention from an Islamic perspective, organized by the Development Research and Project Center, is underway at Bayero University, Kano, with support from the Ford Foundation through its partnership with the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue. The conference aims to empower Muslim opinion leaders to champion and model initiatives to prevent gender-based violence in northern Nigeria. Abdulaziz Ibrahim completes the report.
The Muslim Opinion Leaders for Gender-Based Violence Prevention Project has brought together religious and traditional leaders as part of the DRPC's initiative to address gender-based violence in northern Nigeria. The DRPC, leveraging over 22 years of experience working with more than 200 Muslim opinion leaders, including study tours in Egypt, facilitated this national dialogue. The event aligns with the global 16 days activism against gender-based violence.
The DRPC has supported 23 Muslim opinion leaders as well as the director of the center to attend a study tour on the role of Muslim opinion leaders in preventing gender-based violence, looking at Islamic perspective.
His Highness, the Emir of Kano, Muhammadu Sanusi II, emphasized the importance of legal reforms from an Islamic perspective to strengthen efforts against gender-based violence.
And I still insist that if we want to deal with this matter, we have to just come out with a clear statement. Beating your wife or beating your daughter or beating a woman is prohibited. It is a crime. Let's not even talk about handkerchief or chewing stick or what. It is just haram. It is prohibited. It is not allowed. It is something that is punishable in a court of law.
Stakeholders, including representatives from the Kano State Government and the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue, contributed their perspectives.
Consequences of gender-based violence are far-reaching and devastating. They not only affect the victims, but have ripple effects on families, communities, and society at large.
The National Dialogue highlighted the vital role of faith in addressing harmful practices affecting women and girls.
Islam has laid down many codes and the conduct of treating women with respect to equity and mutuality. If this could be thoroughly employed in the daily activities of Muslims, then there shall be a less gender-based violence. And firstly, gender-based violence-free society.
A significant recommendation from the conference was for the Kano State Government to expedite the passage of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Bill to enhance protective measures.
That is why we have been following this BAF bill. Our interest is in this BAF bill, because if BAF bill is passed as it has been passed in Kaduna, Jigawa, Katsina, I think a lot of problems of GBV will be solved in Kano.
The Muslim Opinion Leaders Project intend to continue strengthening the capacity of the MOLs, that's the Muslim Opinion Leaders. They were part of the peer-to-peer study tour in Egypt, which they already formed an action plan. They have an action plan where they can do the step-down trainings of what they have experienced in Egypt and what they have learned in terms of integrating the Islamic aspect of solving the issue of gender-based violence.
The DRPC remains committed to strengthening partnerships with religious leaders, community groups, and government agencies to advance joint advocacy and action against gender-based violence.
And to development and business, Norwegian energy giant Equinor has announced the decision to end its almost 31-year business partnership with Nigeria after finalizing the sale of its oil assets. A statement by the company on Monday said the sale of its assets was completed on December 6, 2024. The value of the transaction amounted to up to $1.2 billion, consisting of a purchase price of $710 million and the remainder in contingent payments. The divestments of assets and exits from operations in Nigeria were first announced in 2023. The international oil company said the asset sale is in line with the strategy of optimizing its oil and gas portfolio. The total equity production from the assets has been on average 18,700 barrels of oil per day, respectively, in the first 3 quarters of 2024. The closing of these transactions will have a positive impact on the cash flow for the 4th quarter of 2024, the company said. Still in business, the Naira on Monday appreciated to 1,550 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,555 Naira per dollar last weekend. However, it depreciated marginally to 1,538 Naira per dollar in the official foreign exchange market after recording steady appreciation last week. Data from the daily Nigerian foreign exchange market published by the Central Bank of Nigeria showed that the indicative exchange rate for the Naira rose to 1,538 Naira per dollar from 1,535 Naira per dollar last Friday, indicating 3 Naira depreciation. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and the firm rate narrowed to 12 Naira per dollar from 20 Naira per dollar last weekend. We'll take it away from Nigeria now. Police in Kenya on Tuesday hurled tear gas canisters at hundreds of protesters against gender-based violence or femicide in the capital, Nairobi, and arrested an unknown number of people. Protesters chanting "Stop Femicide" were dispersed by police in a public park where they had gathered and later engaged in running battles along the streets. Several protesters were injured in the confrontation on Tuesday. Police in October said 97 women had been killed since August, most by their male partners. A UN report released in November to mark the start of a separate 16-day global campaign said Africa recorded the highest rate of partner-related femicide in 2023. There has been a series of anti-femicide protests in Kenya, and on November 25, during the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, police used tear gas to disperse a handful of protesters who had braved the bad weather. And that's about it on the news update on Trust TV at this hour. Remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching. Join us again.